It's Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session for local bartending school. My name is Carlos Navia. I do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. You are always welcome to be a part of this class and ask me any questions about anything. I will answer them to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I will find the answer. If you go to the link following local bartending school on their Facebook page, if you're already an enrolled student, when you get to the drop-down menu, you can put that you're already an enrolled student. You'll go immediately to the Zoom link to this class. If you're not an enrolled student, they might ask you a little information, then they'll give you the Zoom link, and you're welcome to come in and be a part of this class anytime that you want to. So I've been a bartender for 20 plus years in Arizona, Florida, California, Alabama, Tennessee, even ran a bar in Mexico for a while, which is where I met my lovely wife, who lives with me here in the central coast of California, in San Luis Obispo, sunny California, where I'm coming to you from in my tiki bar back here. Always kind of try to come up with a little something, different to talk about every week. So July 27th, we're almost into August. Not a lot, going on this time of the year. It's hot, kind of in the dog days of summer. Still got, not much sports-wise, baseball's going on, or event-wise necessarily. But, still got a couple more weeks before kids go back to school. I live next to a big college here. Happy, nice time of year. It's really quiet around here this time of year, but got a couple more weeks before the kids come back. So there is still a couple good weeks of vacationers, people going to the beach, pool, river, lake, stuff like that. So today I just want to talk about just a topic to kind of go over things, just talk about the different kind of glassware that we have in the bar and that we use in the bar. I have a lot of stuff here, not quite everything. Majority of this stuff, with the exception of one glass, I paid $2 or less for every one of these glasses. Most of them come from good, Dollar Tree or Goodwill. Generally, some I paid $2 for. I get them at the restaurant supply store. If they got broken up cases, they'll send me whatever's left over, pretty cheap. So it is pretty easy to find a local Dollar Tree or a local thrift store, and get some practice glassware, if you need stuff to practice with, or if you're looking for stuff, build a bar at home. I find tons of stuff at, Goodwill that's $3 or $4 for a set of 4 or 6 glasses. So really easy to kind of build your own, bar stuff at home if you're looking for some glassware. So I just want to talk about the different types of glassware that we have here. Start with a shot glass, or I've got kind of one like here with some measuring lines on it that I know they send out with the kits in local bartending school. Really, really easy. You take shots. Not too hard, nothing too difficult with those. When it comes to rocks glasses, there's different patterns, there's different types. I actually have a matching set of all of these finally after looking in many different places to find them all for $2 or less. This is the smallest one, what they call a single rock glass. It's just intended for a shot on the rocks, single rock, single shot. But we will use this glass for other things as well. If someone orders, a mixed shot, like a kamikaze that I'm going to shake up in a mixing tin like this and strain out for them, I'm not going to be able to strain it back into a shot glass like this because it's going to be watered down. It's going to be diluted. I'm going to need a bigger glass. So your mixed shots would go into a glass like this. The other thing we use a glass like this for, on occasion or in different situations, if someone were to order liquor neat, N-E-A-T. This is a bar term that very simply means they want a straight shot of liquor, but they don't want it in a shot glass. Reason being, they're not going to just shoot it and slam it down. They're going to sip it. They want to, I want to smell it. I want to sip it. I want to take my time. I want to enjoy it. So it's just the difference between doing a shot or having something neat. My example is always this. If we were drinking Jose Cuervo tequila, which I will never do again, we're going to slam the shot down. We're going to bite a lime. We're going to feel horrible tomorrow. But if we're drinking Don Julio 1942 and we're paying 30, 40, 50 bucks a shot for it, depending on where you drink at, I want a glass where I can smell it, where I can sip it, where I can take my time with it. So that's just the difference between a shot and something served neat. Now, in a lot of places, and like where I live out here on the central coast of California, they don't even pour shots in shot glasses. Because if I fill this up to the top, even the shakiest hand's going to spill a little on themselves. It's just kind of messy. They serve all their shots in glasses like this. They just serve them all neat. Just easier to do, pop them down like that. One of the places I did work at here, one of the hotels, did have shot glasses lying around. Hello. Did have shot glasses lying around, but they only used the shot glasses for drop shots. They never, if someone just ordered a straight shot, I'd give it to them in that glass. But if someone wanted a Jaeger bomb or Vegas bomb or something like that, yeah, then I can pull out my shot glasses so that they can drop it in there easily. This aside, show a quick little side shot. Actually, I'm going to throw the other one up here first before I get the little side shot. The next step up from this rocks glass would be a little bigger one like this, generally 5 or 6 ounces. Sorry, this one's about 4.5 ounces. These are generally 8 or 9 ounces, what they call a double rock, just intended for just that, double shot on the rocks. But a lot of places will also use a glass like this for stuff that's just one liquor and one mixer, something like a Jack and Coke or a vodka tonic or something like that. Just give you an idea of the difference and the sizes of these glasses. A little better shot.
And thank you, Sir Mike.
Hi, how you doing? Okay. No worries. You can kind of see a little bit of the difference between the size of just your regular, 1.5-ounce shot glass to this 4.5-ounce glass up to a 9-ounce glass like this. These out of the way. We got our single rock glass. Like I said, a lot of places will do one liquor, one mixer in a glass like that, or they'll do it in a glass like this. It's referred to as a highball glass. Now, a highball is just whiskey and ginger ale. You'll hear a lot of people call a lot of other things highballs. A lot of times people will refer to anything that's one liquor, one carbonated mixer a lot of times as a highball. I think that just came about because they all came in a highball glass. They called them all highball. But generally, that's what it's intended for. That's what the highball is, just whiskey, ginger ale. But, same thing. One liquor, one mixer will go into a glass like this a lot of times. We also have a smaller, skinnier one like this, which is our Collins glass, meant for a Tom Collins. Just gin, sweet and sour mix, and some soda water on top. Really, really easy. Some people order stuff in a shorter glass sometimes. It means they're going to get less ice. They're going to get less mixer. Sometimes people order stuff in a larger glass. It means they're going to get more ice and they're going to get more mixer. The thing is, you pay for a certain amount of alcohol, what we call the standard pour. That's what you're going to get. Most places, it's about 1.5 ounces. That's pretty standard. That's pretty typical across the board. I have worked at places where it's only 1 ounce. They give you a smaller glass like this so you taste it, but we're not trying to get you drunk. These are family type restaurants. Have a drink, but you're here having dinner with your family. We're not trying to get you loaded. On the flip side, I worked at a private country club out here where I live. Their standard pour was 2 ounces. It's a private club. The members own it, have their own Uber account, stick them in an Uber. If they get too drunk, they're going out to golf. So it's just kind of the difference, between the type of environment you're bartending in. Biggest thing is they pay for that amount. They get that amount. Doesn't matter the size of the glass. People try to intimidate bartenders and kind of push them a little to get something for free. Oh, give me a big glass and make it strong. Well, I can give you a double and charge you for a double because that's the only way it's going to be strong in a big glass. Otherwise, it's just going to be weaker. And, my thoughts on this are really simple. Anyone who wants something for free, wants to be hooked up, isn't a good tipper because it means they're cheap. Just, automatically. Favorite line, I'll take care of you later. It's like, hey, I'm here and you're here. You can take care of me right now. It's just someone telling me they're not a good tipper. They're probably going to be a pain in my butt for the rest of the night. So it doesn't matter the size of the glass. We still give them the same pour. Get into bigger glasses. Like this is the next step up of the same set where you see ones like this. And this is the matching one for that, called a bucket glass, kind of a short, fat glass. And I've got some, different types of bucket glasses here. They're all kind of the same. They're used for the same thing. A bigger glass like this, we're going to use for Stuff that's got more liquors in it, got more mixes in it. Tequila's going to have triple sec, and sweet and sour mix. It's going to have tequila in there, or margarita, I should say. So it's going to have tequila, triple sec, sweet and sour mix. It's going to have some more ingredients. I'm going to need a bigger glass. Or traditionally you use a bucket glasses for Manhattans on the rocks, martinis on the rocks, old fashioned stuff like this will generally go in a bucket glass like this, up to a bigger glass, like your pint glass here. Two things that always go in the biggest glass you got: Bloody Marys, Long Islands, anything that's got a lot of ingredients are just going to be, a bigger drink is going to go into a bigger glass like this, as well as stuff like non-alcoholic beverages, and things like that. And I kind of throw this out at this point. I have a lot of glassware out here. You probably not see it all ever in one given establishment. Most places just need to use a handful of glasses. You're not going to use too many. So don't be too intimidated by it. Orchid Sports Bar in Scottsdale, Arizona for a very long time, made great money. They used 2 glasses and that was it. Drinks went in this, tall drinks went in this, beers went in this. They had exactly 5 wine glasses for a handful of locals that drank wine. And that was it. And, we kind of go by the KISS method in the bar, which is an acronym, stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. And then that was kind of their theory. So in a place like that, they can get away with it. In nicer places, you're going to have more glassware. But don't think that there aren't jobs out there where you can very easily make great money with only a couple glasses. So I'll move on to some of these other glasses that I've got here. Martini glass, of course, martinis, Cosmos, stuff like that you're going to serve up would go in this. They are different sizes. I worked at 2 hotels here simultaneously where one had a smaller glass than this, one had a larger glass than this. And I'd have to be aware when I was pouring of which hotel I was at because I was pouring twice as much for one as the other. They did charge twice as much too, by the way. You didn't get a better deal. It's not that kind of place. So, it might take you a time or two to get a feel for the glass, exactly what the pour is. A lot of times in places, Manhattans, martinis, old fashioned stuff like that are automatically doubles. So it might be a larger pour, but you don't want to overfill it. I want to make sure that a server can pick it up, take it to a table, set it down without spilling it on anyone. At the same time, I want to make sure that a person can pick it up, bring it to their lips, drink it without spilling it on themselves. If you fill it too high, they kind of have to do this number and slurp some off the top. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to pick your drink up. I'll also throw this out here, kind of cautionary. Occasionally, you'll see a bartender pour it out and it'll get to the top. So there'd be some left. So they'll grab a shot glass like that, put it on the side and give it to them like that. And we refer to that as a sidecar. It does have a name. That's all good and fine, but you kind of set a bad precedent with that because now that customer is going to expect a little extra every time. And what about that other customer that's sitting 4 bar stools down and they go, hey, I didn't get extra with my martini. How come that customer got extra with theirs? So it's not a great thing. You kind of want to make sure that you get that pour and you can be right on every time, hit the right amount for the glass you're using. Once again, might take you a couple times, but you'll get a feel for it and you'll know how much to put in there. Actually, put this one back over here. Copper mug for Moscow Mules. They're all the rage out here where I live. It is a great, refreshing summer cocktail, vodka, ginger beer, and some fresh lime juice in there. And you do them with whiskey. They do Kentucky mules with bourbon. They do Irish mules with Irish whiskey. They do Mexican mules with tequila. Pretty universally good drink. So our copper mugs, that's what we're going to use those for. I'll show this one. This is specialty glass, and I got this from Dollar Tree. It's used at a very nice hotel, actually, that I worked at here, the Madonna Inn, which I talk about a lot. Specialty drinks, in LA last year, my wife got a Long Island in a glass like this. Rum drinks, frozen drinks, anything like that can go in a glass like this, or in its cousin, that's just a taller, more elongated version of the glass that's like this right here, called a hurricane glass. And that is Pat O'Brien's in French Quarter, New Orleans, Louisiana, home of the hurricane, which we're going to talk about here a little bit more in just a minute. Fortunately, I don't have a hurricane glass, but you'll probably never see both of these in any one given venue, just because they're used for the same thing. Rum drinks, specialty drinks, frozen cocktails, that kind of thing, because it's used in the same thing. You wouldn't need both of them, kind of one or the other. on that one. Same one here. There we go. Let me get some buble. Coffee mug or hot drinks, Irish coffee, Kyoki coffee, hot toddies, stuff like that. Biggest thing with the coffee mug is just remember that people are sitting at the bar in the bar area. Even if they're having a hot drink that doesn't have alcohol, just hot cocoa, coffee, tea, something like that, still give them a fancy mug. Never bring the Waffle House, Denny's, ceramic, IHOP mugs out to the bar, please. Use the fancy ones always. We talk about wine glasses. Got your white wine glass that's taller, more slender. Red wine glass that is fatter and more bulbous. Simple reasoning behind that. Red wine, when it's exposed to the air, changes flavor. They say you allow the wine to breathe. If I have a fatter glass, it allows for more surface area. More of the wine is exposed to the air. It allows it to breathe better. Really, really simple. I live in the middle of wine country in California, although I'm not the biggest wine drinker. I'm learning quite a bit about it. A lot of places, very common where I live, a lot of places don't even use white wine glasses. They just serve everything in a red wine glass. It's not going to hurt white wine to go in a red wine glass, but if I put red wine in a white wine glass, it doesn't allow it to breathe properly. So, you can throw red wine in there, not white wine in a red wine glass, but it doesn't go back the other way. It's not uncommon to only have one glass and it be a red wine glass. For most places, how much wine they'll pour is 6 ounces. A 750 milliliter bottle is about 25 ounces. That's going to give you 4 6-ounce glasses of wine. And one of the hotels I worked at here actually used this exact glass I found at Dollar Tree. When I started at that place, since I didn't know the glass well and I wanted to get a feel for it, I took my jigger, I measured out exactly 6 ounces of water, and I dripped a little blue curacao in there. Just a touch. I don't want to waste a lot. I don't leave it clear or make it red or pink because I've had too many servers think it's wine, pick it up and take it to tables. No one takes a wine glass, looks like it has Windex in it. So a little bit of blue curacao just lets everybody know that's not wine. So I have that. I know that's exactly 6 ounces. For the first week, as I'm pouring into a glass, I'll stick it next to the glass with the measurement. I'll pour up to the same line. I know that's exactly 6 ounces in the next glass. Once I get a feel for it and I can hit that mark pretty good, I won't do it. But at least for the first week, I'm doing it until I get a feel for the glass I'm using. You might also see that they'll have a glass with maybe sugar or rice or salt, same thing. You're putting it next to it, you're pouring it up to that line. That's going to be the mark for their measurement for what they pour as far as wine goes. A place I worked at that actually used this glass has a small window, goes into the kitchen where servers pick up their drinks and take them to the dining rooms. The dining rooms are not connected to the lounge. Either side of the window is a Sharpie line, and you call it the wine line. Put it up next to it, that's exactly 6 ounces. They have it measured out. So there's generally some kind of system in place like that to make sure we're pouring the right amount. What also is pretty common is to just give the person the empty glass and give them a small carafe or something of wine. It's just meant to kind of help the bartenders not over pour partly, but also in the case like of the Madonna Inn, which I just mentioned, they use a giant fishbowl glass at their main bar. It is huge. It is big like this. Got some wind blowing my stuff all over. I see stuff flying up. Giant glass like this. And they give a 9-ounce pour. They give a glass and a half, and they charge more. They get their money. But if I give someone 9 ounces in the giant glass they use, it looks like that. And people will get upset. $10 and that's all the wine you're giving me when it's actually a glass and a half. So you use what's called a Cortino, which is the term for a third of a bottle. It's 8.37 ounces, I believe. It's a little thing like this. You give them the little thing, they've got their glass, they can pour it in. They're happy that way. All of these little carafes, or even like the Cortinos they use, are all designed with a marking in the glass. At some point, the glass bends and you pour it up to that bend. Little small ones you see at corporate places, Applebee's, Olive Garden, places like that. They'll come up, and as they bend to go in to the top, they'll always pour it right up to that mark because that's the exact measurement for what they're pouring. The Cortino comes up and then it comes back out. That bend back out is the mark for 8.37 ounces. They pour it slightly over because they want to give you 9 because that's what they're charging you for. So it's not uncommon to see those things as well. Or you might see one of these that I found at Goodwill, and I think they thought it was a vase. But this is not a vase. This is a decanter. Same thing as the red wine glass, I pour a whole bottle in here. It has a large surface area on the bottom, which allows for the bottle of wine to breathe, and then it'll change the flavor of the wine. Stuff that's not been in the bottle very long. Where I live, Cabs and Pinots are aged 3 years. So this year, the 2019s are out. Places like the hotels and most bars and restaurants in this area aren't even going to take those 2019s out of the box. They don't have to be taken out. They don't have to be stored on their side because chances are they're not going to see 2023. They're going to be gone by the end of the year. That's the way we go through wine around here. Now, if the bottle is sitting around 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years, yes, now it needs to be stored properly on its side so that the wine is touching the cork in the proper humidity and the proper temperature for the wine to be good. You pour the 2019, that we get around here into a decanter like this and leave it for an hour. You should let it sit for an hour. That's time it needs to breathe. It's not going to make a difference. It hasn't been in the bottle but 6, 7 months at this point. So taking it out of the bottle, after that long is not going to make a difference. Now, something that has been in the bottle 5, 10, 15 years, letting it breathe for an hour is going to make a big difference in that. So it's not uncommon where I live for people to come lunchtime with a bottle of wine and say, hey, I have a 7 o'clock dinner reservation. Can you decant this for me? And it's really easy. At 6 o'clock, I pour it in the decanter. I leave it on their table. When they get there at 7, it's ready to go. And they can just pour it straight from the decanter into their wine glass, and they're ready to go. So you might see those as well when it comes to wine glasses. 2 other wine glasses I got here. Champagne flute for champagne, of course. Biggest thing, take your time when you're pouring it. When you pour in an empty glass, it's going to fizz up a lot. Once you have a pool of liquid in there, you can pour into that pool and it's not going to fizz up nearly as much. You don't want it to spill over. It looks bad. It makes a mess. And if I just ordered, a $500 bottle of Dom Perignon and you're now spilling it on the bar, I'm not going to be happy. I'm probably going to be pretty upset about that. So just take your time. No one's in a hurry to drink champagne. Okay. No one has ever run into a place hot and sweaty and just gone, give me champagne now. I'm so thirsty. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. They're going to wait for it. They're not in a hurry. Take your time when you're pouring it. And especially when you get to drinks like French 75s or like a classic champagne cocktail where you have sugar in it, that's going to make it foam up extra more. It's going to make it foam up even more. So really take your time, let it settle, come back, pour some more in there. Smaller glass you see like this. Glass like this could be used for cordials. We also use it around here at one of the hotels I worked in for port wines, sherries, dessert wines. Those are generally going to be a smaller pour, 3 or 4 ounces. They generally come in smaller bottles. So you'd use a glass like this. I also see this glass used for a lot of whiskey tastings and stuff like that, where they just want to give someone a half ounce of something. Kind of swirl it around, put your nose in it. You might also see something like this, some small beer glasses that are used for flights, which are becoming very popular, or continue to become popular, I guess, which is just them giving you several different small choices. Get a flight of beer, you pick 4 different beers, you get, 4 ounces of each. There's even a restaurant in Las Vegas on the Strip in Planet Hollywood, one of my buddies works at, called Flights, and everything they serve is in 3s or 4s, something like that. So if you order sliders, it's 3 different sliders. I got Bloody Marys, I got 4 different Bloody Marys. So kind of a thing. You might see them used for that as well. One more glass here. I know the local bartending school book shows a Pilsner glass with a little base that kind of comes up diagonally. Generally, that's the type of Pilsner glass you get if you order a bottle and ask for a glass with it. You go to TGI Fridays or, Buffalo Wild Wings, you might see bigger glasses like this or maybe kind of a different shape. They're all just Pilsner glasses. They're all beer glasses. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink that one. So I got one more picture before I get out my favorite glasses. And this is generally referred to as a coupe glass, C-O-O-P. I see this one making a comeback a lot as the trend towards old school classic cocktails and who can put the new spin on the classic cocktail and handcrafted cocktails continues to just be, a trend and be popular. We're seeing this glass kind of come back. Old school cream drinks like a Grasshopper or a Brandy Alexander, or if we were doing a traditional, whiskey sour with the egg whites, This would be the type of glass you'd put it in if you had it available. If you didn't have it available, you can always do, any of the drinks in a martini glass like this. The key is we're looking for a stemmed cocktail glass, as it refers to a stem. Excuse me. But I do see this one making a comeback a lot, in your handcraft bars or your bars that are doing those traditional whiskey sours or something like that. All right. So I'm going to get out my favorite guys here. I was able to get these guys. They're kind of dirty. There we go. Was able to get these guys for $2 a piece at a restaurant supply store where I live, my brandy snifters. And of course, what are they used for? Brandy. Really good glass. You can swirl it around. Your nose kind of goes into the glass as you drink it. We really get the aroma of the liquor you're drinking. But besides brandy, we can also serve a lot of liqueurs that people drink neat in this glass as well. Remember, neat, they want it to sip, not to shoot. Things that they generally refer to as digestives. The word aperitif and digestive are fancy words for before dinner drink, after dinner drink. Before dinner, people drink mixed drinks, cocktails, martinis, beer, wine. It helps stimulate your palate, get you prepared to eat. After dinner, people drink a lot of liqueur straight, helps settle your meal. So besides brandy, if you ordered amaretto neat or Tubaca or Kahlua or Frangelico or, any of these things could be served neat in a brandy snifter. Sambuca, which is a black licorice liqueur. People order it neat in a brandy snifter. If you have it available, put 3 whole coffee beans in there. 1 for health, 1 for wealth, 1 for luck. Very cool way to serve Sambuca neat, whether dark or white. In the brandy snifter, 3 whole coffee beans. People love it for it. What's cool about these, and if you have a proper brandy snifter, you can do this. We'll see how well I do this. There we go. If you set it on its side, and once again, they're all not made the same, so I definitely test this out before assuming it's right. I set it on its side, and I pour it right up to the lip right there. And once again, this is just colored water. I'm not really wasting liquor or anything like this out here. I know that that's exactly 1.5 ounces. It should be pretty right on. That's it. Boom. Right on the dot. The glass itself is designed to measure out a shot by pouring it right up to that lip. Just like that. Boom. So very cool trick to do, with a glass like this. And I believe it's kind of intended for you to pour into. And as you approach that top, you can just tip it up and turn it over like that. I think I might have shorted them a little. Or no, and I'm right on the dot. 1.5 ounces. Perfect. So it's a cool trick to do with the glass. The glass is made to measure out its own shot. If you have a proper glass, and that's the key right there. The other thing that's awesome about these glasses and why I really like them is that occasionally people like to get their brandy warmed up. And especially when you start to get into the high dollar stuff, the 40, 50, 60, and up a shot stuff, people like it warm. It's a real easy trick to do, and you'll make your customers very happy if you do this. I have my shot of brandy right here. I'm going to take another brandy snifter. What I just want to do is put water in it, hot water. Sorry, get the right words out. And I just got some water here. I'm just going to throw it in there. So restaurants and bars have coffee machines that have their own water lines connected to them. You never have to fill it. They all have a red handle on it. It dispenses scalding hot water all day long. I go to the coffee machine. I put about that much scalding hot water in another brandy snifter. And if I take my shot and I set it in the top, the steam from the hot water below will rise and heat my shot of brandy from the bottom. And if you give it a little spin, it moves the brandy around so it's not warm on the bottom and cool on top. The person can dunk their cigar in there, so you get a little taste of that brandy on their cigar. I can take a sip, set it back in there, give it a nice little spin. And you don't have to spin it for them. Anyone that orders this knows to give it a little spin. It's a twitchy thing to do with your fingers at the bar. One of the reasons people smoke at the bar, it relieves anxiety and it keeps your hands busy. So while they're smoking with this hand, this keeps their other hand busy and they give it a little spin. It's a little twitchy thing to do. So awesome, awesome trick. People love it when you do this for them when they want some warmed up brandy. Key to this, please don't ever try to serve it to anybody already assembled because it'll fall over. It's shaky. With a napkin, I set the hot water down, I set their shot in there, and I walk away. Let them spin it, let them mess with it, but a very, very cool trick. And if they want another round, they're doing more than one, cool. I can generally use their same glass, put a shot in there, but I am going to go get them some fresh hot water for their fresh shot so that I have, fresh steam, fresh hot water coming up there for them. So awesome, awesome trick that you can do with brandy snifters if you have the proper brandy snifters made right. Cool. So that was our little review of glassware, and the stuff you'll see in the bar. And, once again, no one's going to expect you to come in and know everything and every way they specifically do things walking in the door. In fact, my first full service bartender job in Orange Beach, Alabama, at a place called the Back Porch. I think I made it maybe 30 minutes into my first shift before the general manager came over and said, "Hey, dude, can we start putting that drink in this glass and that drink in this glass?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. You're the boss, Greg." Very nice guy, Greg Harrison, probably still the general manager of the Back Porch and destined to this day. But that was it. I used my best judgment. It was not the way they did things. They corrected me, and we had a great relationship for several years. So, use your best judgment. If they come and say, "Hey, we do this way, we do this way," that's fine. Do it their way. That's kind of what it's all about. And kind of along the lines of, doing it their way, kind of brings me to the second topic I want to talk about today, which is just kind of the differences. Popular rum drinks are popular this time of the year, in your beachfront venues. Consistency is a big thing. If the place you're working at has a house recipe, use their house recipe, please. Reason places like Outback Steakhouse and Applebee's and Chili's and TGI Fridays are popular. Sorry, train's going by, but it's not too loud. The reason they're popular is because they're consistent. If I go to Chili's in California and get something, and then I go to Chili's in Florida and order the same thing, I will get the exact same thing. And that's why people like it. It makes them feel comfortable. There's nothing worse to me than when I look at a specialty drink menu and I see something I like, so I order it, and the bartender says I make it better my way. Well, I didn't order it your way. I ordered it because I liked what I saw, and that's what I wanted. So, if I were to go to a bar and I see their specialty drink menu, so I order something off their specialty drink menu, and I really like it. Okay. So a couple of days later, I come back, but it's a different bartender. I order the same thing, but I get something different. Well, chances are I'm probably not coming back a third time to see if yet a third bartender makes me a third variation of the specialty drink that should be the same every time. So if you do have house recipes, stick with those, and make it consistent. But along those lines, when we get to Mai Tais and Rum Runners and Bahama Mamas and Hurricanes, those are made so different and so weird and in so many ways that it is pretty crazy, and everybody's got their own spin on them, kind of how they do it. Soda water, excuse me. So I just talked about the Back Porch in Gulf Shores, or Orange Beach, technically, Alabama. First full service bartender job. In that area, everybody has their special punch. Theirs was called the Back Porch Punch. To this day, I remember white rum, dark rum, coconut rum, half ounce of each, cranberry, orange juice, pineapple, equal amounts. Back Porch, not too hard. But I was working there for a couple of weeks, and I was wondering how they're making their Mai Tais because they didn't have orange curacao or get syrup, which most places don't. So I went to the senior bartender, the oldest bartender that worked there the longest, and just said, "Hey, how do you ask for Mai Tai? How do you make your Mai Tais?" Because I wanted to be consistent, because I understand the importance in that. And he looked at me and very simply said, "Kid, I'm going to make this real easy for you. Anyone orders a Mai Tai, That's a back porch punch. Anyone orders a rum runner? That's a back porch punch. Anyone orders a Bahama Mama? That's a back porch punch. Anybody orders a hurricane? That's a back porch punch. And that's what he did there for 5 years. And no one ever complained. No one was ever any the wiser. And literally, if he had 3 customers and one ordered a hurricane and one ordered a Mai Tai and one ordered a rum runner, he made them the exact same thing and gave it to them. So, the truth is most people just don't know what's in them or what the difference is. Our old rule in Destin, Florida was when all else fails, put rum and fruit juice in a glass and make it red. And the truth is none of these drinks are really red. It's just funny. So, given different situations like the Madonna Inn, which I just talked about a bit, if I was the day bartender working there, right now this afternoon and someone ordered a Mai Tai, I would grab a glass like this, fill it to the top with ice, always to the top with ice. I put in a shot of white rum, half orange juice, half pineapple juice. I'd let some grenadine go to the bottom, float some dark rum on top. And I know that's not a true Mai Tai, but it tastes good. It looks cool. People enjoy it. They seem to have some fun with it. But if we wanted to make a real Mai Tai, the way it's done in Hawaii, I think we'll start by saying the drink was not invented in Hawaii. The drink was invented in Oakland, California, at Trader Vic's by its proprietor, Trader Vic. Trader Vic had some friends in from Fiji that were visiting, and he made them a drink that consisted of aged Jamaican rum, lime juice, orange curacao, which is just orange flavored before. The real difference between orange curacao, blue curacao, and triple sec is one's clear, one's blue, and one's orange, and that's it. And they're called curacao because they're supposed to be made with peels of curacao oranges that are native to the island of Curacao. Much like key limes only come from Key West, Florida, curacao oranges only come from Curacao. Where I live, I see a dry orange curacao around a lot. It's not as sweet, but it very specifically says dry orange curacao, so it's not as sweet. So that was it. Aged Jamaican rum, lime juice, orange curacao, and orgeat syrup, which is an almond flavored syrup to give it a little bit of nuttiness. He served this drink to his friends from Fiji, and they took a sip and they said, Mai Tai Alua, which means out of this world in Fijian. Just thus the name Mai Tai is born. The drink became very popular. A hotel in Hawaii called the Royal Hawaiian Hotel liked it, wanted their own version of it. So they enlisted Trader Vic, flew him to Hawaii, and he made them their own version, which is much what we think about, traditional Mai Tai being today. So if we do it real quick here, there's my glass. They're not even served in a fancy glass. They're just served in small glasses like this. And went to Hawaii for my anniversary last year for the first time. And they really do look just like they look in the local bartending school book. So if I get my ice out. Always fill our glass to the top with ice. And we're just going to do 1.5 ounces of some white rum. And once again, this is just water, so I'm going to use some clear water here. Put that in there. Then we do our lime juice. Grab some fruit here. Got my squeezer. And in general, half a lemon, half a lime is about half an ounce. Now, it seems like some may be bigger than others. I have done a practical field test. It is amazingly close. I also always cut the little nubs off the top of my lemon or lime. Sometimes if you got that nub, this will come down and fold the piece of fruit in half. You don't get a good squeeze. Take that nub off, you get it right down on that flat part, you get a good squeeze. So I got my 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice. Do a little bit of orange curacao. We'll do 1/2 ounce of that. I've got some orange colored stuff here. Then we'll do our orgeat syrup. Give it that nuttiness, like that. Top it off with some pineapple juice. And give it a little mix here. You just float a little dark rum on top. And to do our floater, I'm not going to turn the bottle over completely or to really go down into it. I just hold it sideways, do 2 quick circles, 1, 2, got our little floater there, and it sits on top, gives it that nice cool effect right there. Spill stuff up here. Give it a nice straw here. We see if we got an orange in here, which I'm sure I do. There we go. Nice little orange slice on the side. And we'll throw an umbrella in here. There we go. We got our traditional Royal Hawaiian version style of the Mai Tai. All right. Let's put our Mai Tai to the side. We go to our rum runner. Let's get a big glass for our rum runner. That's got a lot of stuff in it. So the thing, orchid syrup, orange curacao, that's the big thing that sets the Mai Tai apart from the other ones. What sets the rum runner apart is banana liqueur and blackberry brandy. So it's got some fruitiness to it that the other drinks don't have in these rum cocktails. So I'm fill my glass all the way to the top. Rum runner started in Florida in the 50s, and it was just a guy in a bar in one of the islands on the coast was trying to get rid of liquor. He had too much liquor in his stockroom. He needed the space. So he tried to figure out something to do with the rum and the banana and the blackberry brandy that he had. And thus we have our rum runner. So we do, and that's good enough color for aged rum. We did an ounce of aged rum, dark rum, ounce of light rum, do a half ounce of, get some yellow here, creme de banana, banana liqueur, and then blackberry liqueur, blackberry brandy. That'll work perfect for that color there. And we're also going to do our fresh lime juice in there. Other half of our lime, half an ounce. Yeah. And we'll put a little grenadine. This one actually is red. I think I said they weren't all not red. I take that back. A little grenadine in there. And we're just going to top it all the way off. Some pineapple juice. And once again, we can give a nice little quick mix in there, get that nice and mixed up. And we'll give it another little piece of orange here. And we've got our rum runner. Rum, fruit juice, nice and fruity, good to go. And once again, I can look these up online and see tons of different recipes for them. I've taken these from liquor.com, which I like a lot. I really like a lot of their recipes and use them for a reference a lot of times. But, if you have a house recipe, if they're doing it differently, where you live or where you work, you may do it differently than I'm doing it here. So Bahama Mama. Let's use a fun glass for this. Fun drink, fun glass. Get some ice here for my Bahama Mama. And the big thing that sets the Bahama Mama apart is Kahlua, is the coffee liqueur that's in there. Makes it a little darker color, gives it a little bit of different flavor to it. So we'd start with an ounce of coconut rum, something like Malibu. We'll throw an ounce of that in there. And we'd also go with some dark aged rum, and this will work fine. Good enough color in there. Then it would be the Kahlua as well. And, this will work fine for Kahlua as well. We're just going to put a half ounce of that in there. Give it that little coffee flavor, give it a little different twist on there. We will give it some fresh lemon juice. Ends off. Like that. And once again, pineapple juice. There we go. And give it once again a little bit of here. Get that nice and mixed up for everybody. There we are. Got a Bahama Mama, and we'll give it a nice. We'll give it a umbrella as well, make it look pretty. And we got a piece of orange on there. There we go. And you have your Bahama Mama. So, last of them, trying to make myself some room here. Of course, the Hurricane. And I showed you the picture of Pat O'Brien's, which is where the Hurricane was created. It's credited for it being created. And it was a Prohibition drink. Basically, during Prohibition, it's very easy for them to get rum in New Orleans from the Caribbean. So it's just, a drink that came about because of that. The big difference when it comes to the Hurricane and the other ones is passion. Passion fruit flavor is the key ingredient and what makes it a Hurricane and separates it from the other ones. So I'm going to grab a big glass. And now I'm going to do 2 ounces of white rum. Now remember, these are New Orleans, Louisiana, French Quarter measurements. Most places you probably wouldn't make it necessarily this strong. 2 ounces of dark rum. And then some lime juice. I'm sure I've got another lime here. Squeezer. Squeeze fresh lime juice in there. And then, of course, our passion fruit. Might be some passion fruit puree or some passion fruit puree and maybe some simple syrup or some passion fruit syrup like I have here. I'm just going to do a 1/2 ounce of that in there. And we're going to top the whole thing off with some orange juice. A little more passion fruit. I'm going to get a little redder than that. Passion fruit syrup's not as red as I would have liked. Should have a little fruit to it. And that's it. We've got our Hurricane. Got some throw on there. Give it an orange. And there you go. Our big rum drinks, very popular in the summertime. And the differences between your Hurricane, your Rum Runner, and your Mai Tai. So we'll be back next Wednesday with another topic. Once again, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Till then, be safe, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much, Sean. Are there any questions about anything? Forgot to ask that. Okay, awesome. Thank you.